Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm in a place I've never been to before, but it's weird. Two separate people suggested I came here on exactly the same day, completely independently of each other. So I thought that's too much of a coincidence, so I'm here. I'm down a place called Ness Glen, which is not too far from Dalmellington, down in Ayrshire. And just behind me here is Loch Doon, a place we heard a lot about during the 2020, right? We were all locked in for a while. So, from what I can tell, the location's quite a picturesque river, with lots of little waterfalls and cascades and things like that. So, we're going to explore it, see what we can find. It's quite a grey and overcast day, but if the car park is anything to go by, I've got the place to myself. So I'm going to see just how picturesque it is. This here, I'm guessing, is the part of the retaining wall for Loch Doon itself. So yeah, come with now, we'll go and explore. Before I go any further, I should probably just explain something. I'm actually recovering from a virus. The virus. And so I've still got some tightness in my chest and things like that. So if my voice sounds a little bit weird, or if I get out of breath a lot, then that's the reason for it. Wow. I'm about 2 minutes into the Glen, and already I'm thinking, why have I never been here before? This is beautiful. Yeah, it seems to be one of these walks where you have to keep stopping and turning around and looking behind you, because the view behind is almost as good as the view in front of you. Yeah, no idea what to expect, but from the signs up the top of near the car park, they had photographs of otters and kingfishers, and there's even a sign saying there was an osprey viewing location. Now I kind of like this fern covered boulder here. Not the most dramatic of photographs, but I might just grab the camera and take an image or two just to get the creative juices flowing. As I mentioned earlier, I've actually been quite ill for the last couple of weeks, so I haven't actually taken any photographs for nearly 2 weeks. So, apologies if this comes across as a wee bit rusty. I'm going to take that, I'm going to get the camera out, and this might be the first image of the trip. Probably, maybe a square crop, but certainly zooming in on this boulder here. Probably a slightly long exposure, because I'd like to take advantage of these little cascades round about it. So that's shot number one in bag anyway. I'm not convinced it was a an award winner, but it's good to get the first shot in the bag. This is lovely. I definitely recommend this place. This is absolutely beautiful. Now I like this. We've got this again boulder, a little bit of stationary subject in the middle of all this movement, and that little flash of yellow colour is making that stand out from the darker background. I really like that. Made all the better by the little cascade just at the side there. I focused on that flower, and I've been in quite tight on it. So I'm hoping that obviously that's the main subject, and I'm hoping that will look quite nice. I do like that. Yeah, I really like this one. There's no fancy filters or anything involved. All I'm doing is I've set it to F14, I think. Yeah, F14, and it's 1.3 seconds at ISO 100. And I'm just shooting off a couple of different exposures because obviously the water will be different every time, but also at different focal lengths. So I'm zooming in on that flower and then pulling back out again, and including more of the river. But that is lovely. I'm slightly underexposing because I want that dark, moody feel. I've got to say, as well as the water, the path itself is actually quite photogenic. I've been taking a couple of snaps of the path. I kind of like the way it's dappled in shadow and light, and you can obviously, you've got the leading line of the path itself, but it kind of disappears into these like dark, almost kind of browning tunnels of trees and bushes. And same here. Very similar. So as well as the obviously dramatic waterfall, I've been grabbing some shots of these, of the path itself. Okay, I've come a little bit further down. We seem to have a footbridge there. It's going over to the other side, so I'll pay that a visit in a minute. But in the meantime, we have another kind of dramatic little cascade. Now the problem is the same as the one I had earlier, in that those whites are very bright compared to the rest of the scene. So it's burning out quite quickly. So I'm having to bracket the exposure again. Still shooting at f14 100 ISO, but I'm having to bracket between 0.6 of a second and 2 seconds. I'm wondering if there's a shot here again with the ferns and the grass and the movement in the water. I'm here now. I'll grab this shot. Right, I really like this shot. Basically what I've done is I've set up a vertical format. I'm focusing on these rocks here, but we've got this kind of pool here which is obviously not as turbulent as the rest of the river. So that pool there's forming quite a nice calming juxtaposition with this the movement in the river itself, and then you've got this beautiful green canopy which is just covering over the whole scene. Now, as before, because of the huge dynamic range, I'm having to bracket the exposure slightly, but it looks as though somewhere around about 2 seconds is going to be ideal for the rocks and the canopy, and maybe about 1 second for the water itself, the brighter water. Like that tree. I'm just trying to work out how I can include that in a shot though, because behind it there's a very bright and very grey overcast sky, and the rest of the glen is in darkness. So I'm not quite sure how I would get that into a shot, but that's a lovely old tree, isn't it? I like this scene, this one single tree kind of catching the light, and then you've got these small cascades, and then the rest of the background is pretty much in darkness. I think probably this little video camera's kind of trying to compensate for the darkness by overly brightening it, but in my head the final image is going to be quite dark, with pretty much just this single solitary tree standing out against a very dark background. The fern's probably lit up as well, and then the cascade of water along the front. That is nice, I really like that. Beautiful, beautiful. I kind of like this tree as well. It seems to be a day of trees and waterfalls and paths, but I kind of like this tree. We've got a lovely foreground here with these cascades, and again the rock, so that you've got that little point of stillness and otherwise moving river. I've focused on these foreground rocks, and I'm using this line of rocks and water to kind of draw the eye into the image, into that tree. I'm slightly at an angle here because I think what I should probably do is move slightly downstream so that this little line of cascades is also pointing towards the tree. But my problem there is I'm going further into the canopy of trees, so I don't know if I'll be able to actually see the top of the tree if I go any further down. Okay, I like this. Hopefully you can make this out in this camera, but there's just a little twig there, a little growth, a little plant that's kind of silhouetted against the waterfall in the background. So what I've done is, I'll show you here in the back of the camera, I've focused on that and I've included as much as possible of the cascade beyond it, and I've focused on that. And I'm taking a reasonably long exposure. It's about a second of an exposure, and that looks quite nice because you see that it's basically just silhouetted against the flow of the water in the background, and I like that. I like the way it looks. Of course, the problem with not knowing where you're going is you don't know if you've reached the best part yet or not. This is just going on and on. This is amazing, and I've only seen one person so far today. A fellow out walking his dog. I keep saying to myself, I'll go around this corner up here and then that'll be it. Only to find that you go around the corner and there's another set of waterfalls. Beautiful. This is just going on and on. I don't know where to stop. I'll walk for a little bit further, and then if there's nothing more dramatic further down, I'll turn round and make my way back. Yeah, heading back now. Grabbed a shot there, met my second set of people, so I didn't do anything to the camera while I was taking the image, but one of the side effects of the virus is that I just can't seem to get a breath. So this is a lot harder than it should be. So I've got to say, for the first trip out in 2 weeks, this was a cracker. I had high hopes and it certainly didn't disappoint. This is a beautiful walk, and if you're in the area with your camera, even if you don't have a camera, thoroughly recommend it. That's us from the River Doon and the Ness Glen. Don't forget to give us a wee thumbs up if you liked it, and like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, bye.